We're here at McCullough Gulch near Breckenridge, Colorado at our annual Heritage Christian University Alumni Retreat, and we're here with a number of our alumni. And so I've just asked them to share what they feel like is the most important trait of a godly leader in a local congregation and a resource that they have found helpful.
In a world that's loud and scattered, we dive deep into what really matters. Faith, leadership, truth, and grace. Ministry that moves and takes its place. With Dr. Kirk Brothers, wise and bold. Ministry stories, timeless and told. This is Ministry Matters. That matters.
I'm Zquan Kemp. I'm a youth minister at Connie Church of Christ. And I think the most important trait for a local leader is being selfless and actually digging inside of the community and everything else and showing that he cares. And one resource is I would say is Logos. It's very helpful.
I'm Chris Miller. I've preached at the Hatton Church of Christ, and I think one of the things, especially with servant leadership, going with what he said, ability to let go of our ego. And I think something that was shared with me back when I was a student at Heritage is the book Man of God, making sure that we're searching ourselves in our heart first, knowing ourselves first.
My name's Adam Richardson. I preach at the Petersville Church of Christ in Florence, Alabama. I think that a good leader is someone who learns how to listen well, intentionally and deliberately, and learns how to listen in a way that will enable them to serve, as they've already mentioned, the people that they're working with. The resource I want to mention is actually a multiplication resource. I every Thursday morning get together with 4 other preachers, and whether it's Zoom or a phone call or in person, and we do book club, we do sermon prep, we do something like that. I think everybody needs a weekly group of guys that they can sit down with and iron sharpen iron kind of stuff.
My name's Travis Harmon. I work for Heritage Christian University, and Adam stole mine because I was going to say a leader needs to be somebody who can listen really well.
I was paying attention when we said that.
I guess my second one would be a leader needs to be somebody who can see the trends and understand how they have their finger on the pulse of things that are actually happening, and not just the things that are happening in their mind, but actually the things that are happening in reality. A lot of times I think we get caught in our own little feedback loop, and you actually got to know what is really occurring, not just what you think is occurring.
You have a resource you recommend?
The resource that I would recommend to you is your peer group. You really need to be attached to your peer group. You need to go, if there's not a preacher's luncheon in your area or your professional organization that you're associated with, you need to start one, and you need to be intimately acquainted with the people in your local peer group.
Hi, I'm Jordan Willis. I'm with the Avila Church of Christ. I'm the minister there. My top quality in leadership is humility. And a resource I would recommend is a podcast called The Non-Anxious Leader by Jack Shitama. It's not brotherhood, but his approach to leadership and family systems theory is probably the best I've ever heard.
My name's Aaron Johnson. I'm the preacher for the Middle Park Church of Christ in Granby, Colorado. I think that the most important quality is endeavoring to become like Jesus in heart and character. And if you can get that going, everything else, I think, works out much better. In terms of resources, because that concept was pretty nebulous for me for most of my life, but a resource that's really helped in that regard is Dallas Willard's book, The Divine Conspiracy. So that's what I would recommend.
I'm Matthew Morine, one of the ministers at the Castle Rock Church of Christ. I would say one of the most important characteristics is friendship, kind of like Camp Samson not taking a picture with me. I think a good friend is somebody who always stands with you and in the same frame. The recommendation I would have is How the Best Did It, and it was about 8 presidents and their leadership skills.
Do you know who the author was? Do you remember?
No.
How the Best Did It.
How the Best Did It.
That's good.
My name is Steve Cummings. I'm with the Harmon Church of Christ as the pulpit preacher there. I would say humility and not be concerned about who gets the credit for things that get accomplished, and that Jesus gets all the glory for everything, every success of school. And I would say that a good resource would be mentors, people who have had a huge impact on your life that you trust, that will tell you the truth and will encourage you at the same time, that you can be humble enough to listen to that.
I'm Joshua Papus, preaching minister for the Great Church, aka Laverne Church of Christ. And I think the most important quality in a leader is absolute loyalty to Jesus above all other people, above all other concerns, and above all other loyalties. A resource that I would suggest is The New Breed, Recruiting and Equipping the 21st Century Volunteer by McKee and McKee, because even though a president of a university is going to be leading paid staff and has that leverage, the people that the school is going to be training are going to be leaders of volunteers, and it's not the same animal. Understanding how to lead volunteers is vital.
Hey, I'm Chris Moran. I'm the preaching minister at the Eastwood congregation in Florence, Alabama. A quality for me and a good leader is someone who will lead by example. I think if you can get people to follow your mission and your vision by example, then they will follow harder and longer. And a resource to me is surrounding yourself with people who make you better, not just your peers and your friends, but people who don't necessarily like you or people who don't necessarily believe like you do, because it makes you reflect on self and it makes you grow as a person. And you can always use that criticism to be better for yourself.
What's up? My name is Cody Harrington. I am the youth minister at Breckenridge Church of Christ. I would say a characteristic of a leader has got to be relational, relatable.
I think Jesus met people where they were at in their life. He didn't make them come to him necessarily. And so meeting people where they're at, when people are in all different states of life, different conditions, different struggles. And so being able to be with people in those trenches is what I try to chase after. I would say biggest resource that I would say that I didn't capitalize on early on is your local school system. If you are a preacher, getting to know the teachers, the administration, you can tap into some very a wealth of gold. We'll just say that. And if you're a youth minister, obviously building relations with a kid, man, them knowing who you are means a lot, counts for a lot. You'll be surprised who they come to. So,
Men, you've just heard from bring a wealth of wisdom, experience, and education to the table, and I hope their thoughts and suggestions are helpful to you as you labor in ministry. Just remember that ministry matters because the Master matters. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Ministry Matters That Matter.
In a world that's loud and scattered, we dive deep into what really matters. Faith, leadership, truth, and grace. Ministry that moves and takes its place. With Dr. Kirk Brothers, wise and bold. Ministry stories, timeless and told. This is Ministry Matters. That